Um, just bear with me for just a moment here. I just want to uh, make sure I have all the settings in the right order, and then we'll get right into the show. Um, all right, it looks like everything is running good. So, of course, I want to start off the show with saying Shalom. Right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And this is just going to be a little flow for the spirit, man. Okay, as I was going to say, man, it's just there's a lot going on right now, over here in Babylon the Great, man. Right, and we, right, since we are the mouthpiece of the Most High, one of the, primarily, or may I use the word primary? And what does the word primary means? Right, like I'll give this example. If you play multiplayer shooter games, right, they'll have a couple sections there. There would be one section that has a primary weapon, but then there's another section that has a secondary weapon, right? The reason I use that because the word primary means the one that you're going to be using the most, right? So to give that analogy, in the game, you'll have a weapon that's used for your primary weapon, right? But then you'll have a backup weapon, which is your secondary weapon, right? So the way that correlates with what I'm saying is that, right now, even though we bring out the entire truth of the scriptures, but at the forefront of what we're, supposed to be talking about, is the prophecies, man. Right? That's at the forefront, right? That's our primary weapon, so to speak, are these prophecies, right? That's the primary, the most important, part of our doctrine. And how can you prove that? Because all you got to do is go to one of our favorites, right? Revelation chapter 19 and 10 says what? That the testimony of, it says Jesus, right, is the spirit of prophecy, right? So that shows that the primary, thing we're supposed to focus on right now, is those prophecies, man. Right? That doesn't mean that you don't bring up the other, things in the scriptures. That's important too as well, of course. But right now, the thing we're harping on the most, are those prophecies. Why? Because, hey, look, man, if you can't see, this place is, circling the drain, then I don't know what the hell to tell you, man. Right? As I like to use the analogy, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink, right? You can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make the horse drink. All right. And that's a good analogy, man, to use with these people out here. Okay. As you can lead them in the right direction, but just because you lead them in the right direction doesn't mean they're going to believe in it. I'll give this example. You can sit there and tell somebody to look into, NASA and how they're, photoshopping these images, and some of the people might actually look into it and say, oh, you know what? I think they are, faking some of these pictures. But then if you try to take it a step further and suggest that maybe the world's actually flat, then that's, that's off the deep end there, right? You might be able to convince somebody that these photos are fake. You might be able to do that, but then to take it a step further and to suggest that maybe the world isn't what we've been told, that's a whole nother can of beans right there. Let me just check the chat real quick. All right, shalom to everybody who's tuning in. Just let me know if you can hear me, clearly in the comments. All right, just let me know if the audio is coming through clear. And I would drop a link, but I'm not streaming from StreamYard tonight. I'm streaming from YouTube, so I can't I can't put a link there because of course on YouTube, if you're streaming live from the app, you can't have anyone else on other than you. So, I'm just doing a little spiritual flow. You know what I'm saying? And it's always good to do these, man. Okay, to let your frustration out, man. Right? And we, as righteous men, right, men of the Most High, we definitely, you should be angry, right? You should be pissed off. If you're not, then you're not in the right spirit. And how can I say that? Because the scriptures tell you that oppression makes a wise man mad. Right? Ecclesiastes 7:7. Right? It says a gift destroys the heart, but surely oppression makes a wise man mad. Right? Oppression. What does the word oppression means? Basically, what it means is to make it difficult for somebody to do what they want to do, for a lack of better words. Right? That's basically what it means. Oppression. Right? So we're definitely under oppression right now. Right? We're still in servitude. That's why you got to get up and work your 9 to 5. And then for a lot of us, man, you know you got to work 2 jobs, man. There's even some people out there working 3 jobs, and that's not even enough to get by on. Right? So it just shows you, man, and they're literally working the people, to the bone, so to speak. Even living on 2 or 3 jobs, it's still not enough to get by. You know what I'm saying? So it just shows, man, it just ain't, these stupid ass Americans be sitting there saying, that they're, proud to be an American. It's like, okay, cool. Well, why exactly, may I ask? Like, do you even know why? Do you just repeat that because that's what someone told you? Or do you actually have a real reason, behind such a belief? As what's the difference between America and Russia and, let's say, what could I say? Uh, Taiwan, right? India, um, Great Britain, Canada, right? We'll give those examples. What's the difference? The people over here are living in the same conditions that those people are living in, right? It's like, what's the difference? What is the reason that you should be proud to be an American? It's like, and that's a real question, right? That is a real question. It's like, what exactly is it? Because you're not more free than someone else living in another plantation, right? In another country. Okay, as I said, man, it's just it's too much right now. Everything is just too much. Okay, it's just everything right now, man. And then hell, man, even I, myself, which I'm in the know, right? I know what's going on, right? And I'm even telling you that the stuff out here is just getting to be too much, man. All right, and I know how it feels. Why? Because I'm part of that lower, you know, bracket of society, so to speak. Right? One paycheck away from homelessness. Right? Living paycheck to paycheck. Hey, look, I know how it feels. To be at the bottom. Right? I know how that feels. Right? To be, which I've never been. Living out on the streets or nothing like that. Right? My family was always able to put a roof over our head. And you got to be thankful and grateful for that, of course. But I do remember, man, there were certain times, back when I was, growing up, there were certain times when, I'll give this one example. One year, what could I say? Yeah, this one time I can remember, man, my mom had, a roast, for us, but something happened where, in the oven, because the roast was in a glass, platter to be, cooked upon in there. But apparently she did something wrong, put the wrong temperature of water in it. So it caused the glass to, explode. So therefore, the food got ruined, of course. So she had to, call her mother and cry to her, you know, for her to give her a couple dollars so she could feed us with. right? And of course, she got the money, to feed us, of course, which is a good thing. But I'm just using this to say that, I know how that feels, man. All right. I know how that feels to be at the bottom. All right. And it doesn't feel good, seeing how it is right now when you don't have, two dimes to rub together. But yet you see these cats out here, like, look at this character, Ben Mala, right? Look at that guy, man. Right? Guys are out here buying, $5 million, you know, um, sports cars and, private jets and, all these fancy toys, man. Right? But meanwhile, us, we're all living out here, living, paycheck to paycheck, right? One paycheck away from, from homelessness, man. So what this shows, man, that this empire can't last forever, man. Okay, eventually, it's just going to be enough. All right, it's just the divide between the have and have-nots of this society is just unbelievable, man. Right, it's unbelievable how wealthy some of these people are in this society, compared to the rest of us, man. It's just unbelievable. And then, it's funny because I was looking at the whole Vatican's what is it, yearly imports, I believe. And it's which the imports basically represent the material goods that are imported, into the country, you know, um, yearly. So the yearly, amount of money that they get, or I should use the word annual, which means yearly. All right, the statistics usually would what's the word I'm looking for? Equivalate. I hope I'm pronouncing that word correctly. To roughly $30 million. Right, $30 million. All right, that's what it boils down to. All right, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because you have certain people out over here that they have 100 times that in their bank account, man. Right, it's crazy, man. I mean, hell, you got people out here, these you know baseball, basketball, celebrities, making $100 million contracts. You know what I'm saying? And it just shows how backwards the society is. Here it is. They can make a contract with a man to, shoot a ball into a hoop on live TV, and they'll give him $200 million for doing that. But yet they can't even come up with a program to get these people that are living in tents on the side of the streets. They can't even come up with a program to get them into some type of, shelter, right, into some type of housing. They can't do that, but it's perfectly fine with, giving a human being $200 million for shooting a ball into a hoop on live TV. You know what I'm saying? The scriptures say that the Lord hates a unjust balance, and that's what this society is, man. Okay, this is an unjust balance in this society. Babylon the Great, which is not no Vatican City. For these peons that come around here, man, these tried and refined, baboons is what I'll call them. Let me just bear with me for a second. Let me just check the comments, and we'll see what's going on. Bear with me for a second. Mind of God said, "Mind of God can't afford to make it through the Great Tribulation," which he's right on that. Right, he's right on that. I mean, hell, ETT don't got enough to make it through the next, 25 minutes. It's not a joke. You know what I'm saying? That's just the level of poverty I'm looking at. Let's see. Jack said, "Christ's return will be beyond anything we can imagine." Right, and he's right on that, and that will quite literally be true, because we know that that Christ is returning on what the world ignorantly calls UFOs. Okay, and that's a hard pill to swallow, but that's what it is. That's the truth. Right? That's the what is it? The red pill. Right? That's the pill that, takes you deeper, into the knowledge, man. And of course that's not literal. Okay, but that's a deep topic, man. If you go up to any of these conspiracy guys and ask them, well, what are UFOs? I guarantee you almost 100% of them will tell you that UFOs, they're either going to say it, they're a government conspiracy, Project Blue Beam, or Christians are going to say they're Nephilim, fallen angels, or someone's going to say aliens, right, coming to visit the world. I guarantee you're going to find nobody except for maybe a Hebrew Israelite who will tell you the truth that those are actually the chariots of the Lord, man, which is what they are. So Jack's right with his statement about when the Lord returns. It's going to be beyond anything we can imagine. He's right on that. Really, that's definitely true. In fact, there's a scripture in the Apocrypha. It mentions that when the people see, the elect's salvation, they're going to be amazed and they're going to be astonished at the strangeness of our salvation. Right, and that's going to be strange. They're going to be seeing people being beamed up into UFOs, man. That's going to be a very strange sight to see. Right, but that's really going to happen. Or say, hey, look, we're just trying to make our calling and our election sure, man. We're not trying to, build up a future for ourselves in this society. That's not what we're looking to do. Okay, because you got people out here right now, man. That are, bear with me for a second. Right. Excuse me, I just have to take a little breather in between because it is, cold out here. But going back to what I was saying, is you have people out here right now, man, that I even know one of them. Right, I even know one of them. Somebody I went to what was it, preschool with. They're going off to college right now as I speak. In fact, they might be, over there already. Okay, so everyone's, looking to start building up their future here. Everyone's looking to start building up that future over here, right? Everyone's looking to, either build a business for themselves, invest for the future, or all of that. That's what everyone's looking to do. And I'm not, saying that it's wrong to, if you can get a good job, then hey, go with it, right? Take the good paying job. If you can do that, that's good. The scriptures speak about, if possible, do good unto yourself. That's in the scriptures. Scriptures speak about using the world, but not abusing it, right? So you can use the world, to your advantage. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Okay. But with that being said, you can't let the world get in the way of this truth, man. Like, I'll give this example. There was a brother a couple months ago, he did a testimony. It's a brother from Great Millstone. He did a video saying that he got offered a very well-paying job. Like, I mean, I believe he said like a job that pays roughly $200,000 a year, roughly. But the only requirement he had to, get in order to take that job offer was he had to get that yab, right? He had to get that juice, right? So he was tempted by it. He was very tempted with that offer. 200,000 roughly a year. That's a ton of money, man. Considering the fact that majority of us are only making, 12 to maybe 30,000, 20 some thousand, depending on your, where you're working. But that's a lot of money, man. But he said no, he's not going to do it. Why? Because the requirement was that he has to get that juice. Right? So he got tempted with it. But at the end of the day, he said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. Why? Because it goes against the scriptures. Right? The job itself didn't go against the scriptures, but the requirement that he had to get in order to take the occupation would be against the scriptures. So he had to turn down that opportunity, man. And hey, look, the Lord's going to bless that man, all right, for turning down that great opportunity, just to uplift the word, man. Okay, so hey, you got to give that brother some respect. In fact, I got to say this, right? There's a brother down in Hawaii, right? GMS Hawaii camp, which he doesn't like me. That guy totally hates me for some reason. I'm not sure why the brother feels that way, right? I've never came out and said I hate the brother on video. I've never said that, right? I'd be cool with the brother, but he doesn't like me for some reason, right? But the reason I'm bringing him up is some of you might remember back in 2018, there was what was it, a false missile alarm over in Hawaii. So it went to all of the TVs, everyone's phone, and all the radio systems that there were missiles being launched at Hawaii, and that they only have like 20 minutes to prepare themselves. And that was very real, right? It was a false alarm, but it really went out. The notification went out to everybody as if it was really happening, right? So everyone believed it was, because it did not say that it's a drill. It said that this is not a drill, right? Somehow the buttons accidentally got pushed. Okay, so the reason I'm bringing it up is that brother, what he did is he got on YouTube and he went live, right? He got on YouTube and he went live. And as I said, everyone thought that missiles were actually heading over to Hawaii, man, because at the time no one knew it was a false flag, right? And some of you might not remember that, but that happened a couple years back in 2018. Okay, so I got to give that brother respect, man. Okay, because he, you could tell, because I watched the stream. You could tell if he was scared, man, or he could tell, right? But hey, he was saying, that he's going to put his belief, in the Most High, right? That he might be delivered from that circumstance. All right. And matter of fact, I believe he got 60,000 views on that video, if I'm not mistaken, because you had I want to say there was like 3,000 people watching it live. You heard me right. 3,000 people were watching the live stream. He just entitled it, missiles coming to Hawaii right now or something. So random people went on YouTube and looked it up, and everyone was watching it because the event was just going down right there, and then, right, so everyone was trying to figure out what's going on, where they're coming from, and where they can go, to spare their lives. And I remember, which you can look this up today, the video should still be on YouTube, but what people were doing is they were lowering people down into the streets, right, into the sewers on the streets, is where they were trying to lower the children and everyone down into. And you can find that video on YouTube. Just look that up. Look up 2018, Hawaii, missile false alarm. You'll see what I'm talking about for anyone that's not familiar. But yeah, man, even though that brother doesn't like me for some reason, I got to give it, to him, man. Right? He definitely deserves respect, for his actions, right, in that circumstance. I got to give him credit, right? That's very bold, what he did. Let me see. I just want to check the chat real quickly. Somebody said, there may be good UFOs and bad UFOs. Strong delusion, remember? Well, my response to that would be, is, the idea that, there's a UFO deception is what I believe the brother's trying to get at, because he said strong delusion, remember? That's what the brother just said in the comments. So I think the brother's trying to allude to there being some type of UFO deception. And my response to that would be, is I don't believe that. So, right, I don't believe that's true, because how are they going to deceive people if they already have the people believing what they want? Because when the people see these UFOs, no one's going to know what that is except for, the Lord's chosen people, right? When they see it, we know it. Those are, the angels, in there, right? Those are, the vehicles, the chariots of the Most High. We're in the know, right? We know that. But these average simps in the world, they're either going to think that those are the grays coming back, you know, or, Christians be talking about, oh, well, that's Satan and his angels coming back, right? Then you're going to have guys saying that that's, government propaganda. You know what I'm saying? So there is no strong delusion with them faking UFOs. I just say that's, matter of fact, that statement is part of the delusion because that's what they want you to think. Right? That's what they want you to think. So that would be my understanding on that. Let me see. And as far as what the brother said about there being bad UFOs, I mean, you'd have to show me that in the scriptures. Where does it say that that Satan and his angels have chariots of their own? That's not in the scriptures. Now I understand that maybe, the government can make certain, technology, like UFOs that can look like them. That's certainly possible. I'm not going to deny that. So, I mean, if you want to say that, those are bad ones, we can roll with that. That's fine. But to say that they're of a demonic origin, I wouldn't necessarily subscribe to that because no one can show in the scriptures where, Satan has his chariots. That's not, I haven't seen that in the scriptures. Let me see. Let me see real quick. Somebody said, Manny said, I honestly believe that most UFOs that we see are probably GI aircraft. I'm not necessarily sure what he means by GI. Maybe does he mean AI aircraft or whatever? I believe he's saying, some type of like government, project, crafts for lack of better words. Right, I believe that's what the brother's saying. Oh yeah, that's what I thought. Right, government issued. Right, that's what I thought you were saying there. Um, let me read that again. Then he says, I honestly believe that most UFOs that we see are probably government issued aircraft. Now, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, and the reason I can say that is, what video would you refer to? No, mind of God, I don't want you to put anybody in timeout, right? Everyone's free to chat on here. Don't time anybody out, brother. Right? I don't want that happening. Manny's free to express his, his views. That's certainly fine. Just to put that out there. And any other brother that joins is welcome to share and have a friendly discussion, right? Hey, ETT always lets the chat, be open and free. You know what I'm saying? That's always good, right? It's always good to have an open chat, right? All questions and all topics are welcome. But I would have to ask the brother who said that. I believe it was Manny, right? It's like, okay, video would you be referring to show me just for an example of these, spacecrafts that are man-made? Because when I've watched the UFO videos, from everything I'm seeing, they look like, like you have some of them out there called Tic Tac UFOs. In fact, I caught one of those on video one time, like 2 years ago. There's one behind me, in the sky. Right? So, you're going to have to show me, like how do we tell the difference between them? Right? And then if you see that some of these videos of these crafts, they're moving at they're moving at a speed that we can't do today. Right? Like I'll give this example. They're flying, 80 miles an hour in one direction, and then immediately they turn in another direction. Like instantly. They don't even come to a stop. Just flying completely straight, and then they just turn. Right? We can't do that today. Right? We don't have that type of technology that can just, fly, 80, 100 miles an hour in one direction and then immediately just turn another direction. Like instantly. We can't do that today. We don't have that type of technology to make those crafts. So I would have to ask the brother, as I said, you'd have to, show me an example of what the brother means. I'm not saying he's wrong, all right, but you would have to prove it. Let me see. Yeah, man. You're welcome to join on another stream. As I said, this stream I can't bring anyone on because I'm streaming from a different platform tonight. That only lets one person on, which is me. Right, I'm streaming live from YouTube. But yeah, man, another night you can come on and we can talk about that subject. That's perfectly fine. Let me see. Bear with me for just one moment. One brother said, I'm not saying I believe that, but I could see them using Revelation 9 and Abaddon / Apollyon, the angel king of the bottomless pit, and the locust lady, said locusts are typically referring to heathen. Well, I wouldn't agree with that. My understanding of Revelation 9th chapter, starting from verse 1 down to verse 15, that already happened. Right? That already happened. That was talking about the First World War. Okay, the angel of the bottomless pit is talking about the a man by the name of what's his character? Kaiser Wilhelm, right? Kaiser Wilhelm. Look him up on Google. Okay, that's a man named Kaiser Wilhelm, which he was the emperor over Germany at that time. Okay, in fact, he has a church named after him. Look that up. Okay, and as far as the locusts represent World War I fighter jets. Okay, because when you have to understand that when John saw that, that wasn't literal. Right, there's not going to be an actual creature that's flying around, that has the head, of a man, right? Woman's hair, breastplates of iron, wings, and then there's a few other details it mentions in there. But that's certainly not literal, right? What John's trying to describe in that chapter is he was seeing dogfighter planes. Okay, if you go on Google right now, go on Google and look this up. Look up a picture of a World War I fighter jet. Okay, and you can see photos of them, in the sky, the photos taken from the ground looking up at these creatures. And if you didn't know what those were, you might refer to those as, oh, well, those look like a swarm of locusts, right? Those look like a swarm of insects up there, right? So when he saw that, he just tried to describe to the best of his ability, what he's seen, because he didn't know what the hell that was, right? So, I would disagree on that, right? I believe Revelation 9, starting at verse 1 to 15, that already happened, right? That was talking about World War I. And as I said, you can, I've done a couple videos on that in the past, so if you're interested, you can, look into that, because there's a couple videos on the channel you can find. I believe I have a playlist on that subject as well. You can, look into that, at your leisure time. Let me see. Which is funny you bring that up, because I was actually earlier, I was going through on one of my other channels. What is that? Andrew, right? Andrew Wiseman, inside joke, right? On the Andrew Wiseman channel, I was going through and looking at some, World War I, videos, and a couple I looked up were about those, those dogfighter jets, right? They have video footage out there, real footage, of the of World War I, right? When these things were in use, man. All right, you can just type that in on YouTube and you can watch it, right? You can learn about them. I believe there's a channel out there. What is that channel called? I believe it's called The Great War or something like that. I believe it's called The Great War. You can look them up. But they go all into like historical events regarding, historical battles and, World War I, World War II, and, the weapons they used, and, stuff like that. You can look into that. Very, good information, out there that can be provided. on those subjects. Let me see. Manny said, I strongly believe in the 12 tribes chart, and I really think that the horror is a cool man. Yeah, I agree with you, right? I'm there, right there with you. ETT likes the horror, right? The horror knows who I am, right? You can ask him, you can go down and ask him, oh, you know about that guy, ETT, and then mention, that moon pie guy, right? They'll know who I am, right? So yeah, I like the horror, right? The horror is cool, right? The horror is cool. In fact, I said when I was on with Sakari, that I'm not a member of GMS, but I'm doing my own thing, but I certainly, believe that the Lord's dealing with the apostles of GMS. You know what I'm saying? So, as I said, definitely much respect, to the brothers, in Great Millstone. Because a lot of the stuff that we know, not all of it, of course, because I knew a good, decent chunk of knowledge before I came across Great Millstone. All right, but I definitely have to give credit where it's due, because a lot of things that I now know and believe I got from them. As I said, not all of it, of course, but a decent chunk of information, came from them. So I got to give those brothers respect, where it's due. The scriptures tell you, I believe that's what is that? I believe that's what is that? 1 Timothy 5:17, if I'm not mistaken. That says, to give respect unto the elders who rule well, right? So the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders, right? They rule well. And they are the true men of the Most High, man. Right? And everyone's going to find that out, in the very near future, man. Right? That doesn't mean they're correct on 100% of the truth, but those brothers are definitely, the top camp out there, man. Compared to Sakari, GOCC, LUIC, ISUPK, and all these other, groups out there, man. You got to give them credit where it's due. Let me see real quick. Let's see. Brother said, Revelation 9 is a cool mirror image to Revelation 19. A baton / star falls from heaven, and locusts versus Christ and heaven's armies on white horses. I wouldn't agree with that, right? As I said, Revelation 9, that already happened in the past. Right? That's as I said, you're welcome to, your own understanding of the matter. That's cool. But if you were asking me, I'll tell you that already happened. And I wouldn't say they're connected, right? I would not say that, because that already happened. Just like I'll give this example, just like Mind of God, which he's in the chat right now, but he'll go to Genesis 15 and 13, and he'll tell you, oh, that did happen in the past, but that's also happening again right now. It's like, well, wait a second. Where in the text does it say that it has a dual meaning? There's no verse or word you can use to show it has a dual meaning. Right? We proved, just read verse 14. It says that they're going to come out of this, place with great substances. And I can prove it already happened, because all you have to do is go to, what is it, Exodus, the 12th chapter and the 13th chapter, and you can read about the Israelites being swiftly kicked out of Egypt. But it also says what? That the Israelites spoiled the Egyptians. They took their possessions, is what they took. So that undeniably proves that verse 14 proves that it already happened in ancient Egypt. Because wait a second, I can prove it can't be happening today, because when the elect's raptured, you can't take any substances with you. Right? He's sitting there saying that it's dual meaning. It's like, well, wait a second. Let's roll with that then for a second. Let's talk about that. If that's true, the problem with that is it says they're going to come out of the land with a great abundance, with all precious, merchandise, right? And it shows you the precious merchandise that was sold in Babylon the Great. It doesn't say the elect's coming out of Babylon with any of those precious goods. So what does verse 14 mean? You can't say, oh, well, that don't apply anymore. No, that's part of it. That's a continuation from the previous verse, saying that they're going to come out with a great abundance. So that undeniably proves it already happened in the past. It's not happening right now. That's totally incorrect. It's very clear. Just like, I'll give this example. What about if you go to what is that? If you go to First Timothy, the 6th chapter. Yeah, First Timothy, the 6th chapter, and the 7th verse on down. It says what? That we brought nothing into this world, but it's also certain that we can also carry nothing out, is what it says. Let me quote that again. It says that we brought nothing into this world, and it's certain we can also carry nothing out. All right, so when this, rapture takes place, what goods are you going to take? What goods are you going to take, on this rapture? And that's a real question, right? That is a real question. It's like, what goods are you going to take with you? So last time I read the Skipjes, it doesn't mention anything about the Israelites taking goods from Babylon the Great. That's not in there. Okay, so if the brother's going to make a bold claim that, Scripture did happen in the past, but also is happening again today, well, we have to address that one verse there. Just like I'll give this example. If a brother comes on and says that Christ is white, and then we give him the one verse that we have to show that he was dark skinned, if he doesn't want to deal with that and say, oh, I don't know what that means, but, I got all these other verses I could use, to argue against it. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. We have to be fair and address all of the information. You know what I'm saying? Bear with me for just a second. Let me just see real quick. Mighty God said, slavery 1619 to 2019, first U.S. Corolla circumstance, January 2020. Then he said coincidence. Well, as I said, it doesn't show because it says 400 years that, they would be delivered. So it's over 400 years now. It's over 400 years. So does that mean that the prophecy was incorrect? Which I know it already happened, right? I'm just, for argument's sake, we'll just, deal with what the brother's saying in the comments. We'll just roll with that understanding for a moment. It's like, if that's the case, right, let's roll with that. It's like, well, wait, it's over 400 years. So does that mean it was false? So we're still here, unless, someone's a preterist, believing that we're living in Christ's kingdom today, which is bullshit in and of itself, which I know the brother's not, but I'm just saying for anyone else out there listening. So unless one takes that approach, I mean, they'd either have to agree the prophecy's false because it's over 400 years, or, you have to accept the truth, which is it already happened. Because what the brother's trying to do is say that there's, certain things that happen in the Bible. He's basically saying that almost every chapter, not every chapter, but almost every chapter has what he calls a sequence in it. And he even brought up, if you go to, what is that? Joshua, the 10th, not the 10th chapter, the 6th chapter, right? Joshua, the 6th chapter, dealing with the, when the Israelites taken down the city of Jericho, right? He'll use that and say, yeah, that is a historical event, but there's also, a sequence in there. It's like, come on, man, what are you saying? That it's a historical event that happened. So it's just in the scriptures to tell you of the event that happens. Okay, that happened in the past. Okay, it's not, dual meaning of happening back then and also going to happen again today. As I said, guys are just putting stuff into the text. It's not there. And there's a lot of guys doing that. There's a lot of, people out here who are doing that, just like these guys who will sit there and say that Christ loves everybody, right? And I know the brother's not teaching that, but I'm just putting that out there because there's other guys out there who believe that, right? They'll incorporate that into the text. Let me see. Shalom to everybody who's tuning in. As I said, if there's any questions that you want to have answered, you can ask on the comment board, and I will address them, right? It's an open mic tonight. Well, I should say it's only me on here, but, we're definitely open to questions, right? Q&A with End Time Teacher, right? The End Time Teacher. Let me see. Shalom to Bible Defender. Welcome to the show. Yeah, he's right. Right, that already happened. Right, he's right with that. As I was saying, right, that certainly already happened. Right, that has nothing to do with today. Because I don't know if y'all remember, man. Right, but before Mind of God, mentioned that chapter, which he might have knew about it. Right, he might have knew about it back in 2018. He might have knew about that chapter. I'll give him that. That's certainly possible that the brother knew about that chapter. But back then, you had everybody popping up teaching that going by that chapter, right? Genesis, the 15th chapter, 13th verse. That chapter proves that, Christ will return by 2019, or return before 2020, okay, to deliver his elect. And everyone, that was a big thing on YouTube, man. Everybody was there talking about that. And that didn't happen, right? That didn't happen. You know why? Because Genesis 15:13 has nothing to do with America. That has nothing to do with America. That was fulfilled back in ancient Egypt. Or I should say ancient Egypt. Inside joke. All right. Look up what's this thing? Look up this YouTube called Day Things. Right? Guy did a YouTube poop of this. What's that TV show? Right? Ancient Aliens, right? Guy called it Ancient Aliens. Look that up. But going back to what I was saying, man, is it's just this is why you have to be careful when you deal with the scriptures, right? Because guys can twist, certain things. And I'm not saying, anyone's deceitfully doing anything. I'm not at all saying that, right? ETT is not the guy who will call somebody a shill just because he disagrees with him, on the interpretation of scripture. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that kind of guy. I like to call myself a reasonable, person, right? So I would consider myself reasonable to believe that just because, Jeranism doesn't subscribe to the scriptures, and that, that doesn't mean that he's being paid by somebody to not believe in it. You know what I'm saying? I would think that's ridiculous to think that people are being paid just to not talk about certain topics. It's like, well, who the hell is paying them? You know what I'm saying? Let me just hit some comments. Let me see. Someone said they would have no need for all to be chipped. What would be the point? Right, and that's true. What would be the point behind that? And first of all, nobody ever said that everyone in the world's getting a chip. Nobody said that. Right, and that's not in the prophecy, because if you read it, it says, if you go to what is that? Revelation, the 14th chapter and the 16th chapter, when it deals with the plagues and then the people being destroyed, it says those that took the mark worshipped the name of the beast and the image. And what's the image of the beast? The image of the beast represents the political ways of life of America, because America is the Roman Empire back in reincarnation today. That's what America is. Okay, so these guys teaching that Rome is Babylon, they're actually right. But don't get it twisted. The Rome that's Babylon represents America, because America is Rome. All right, and that's where the disconnect happens. I'll agree with them and say that Rome is Babylon. That's true. However, Rome today is America. It's not talking about over in Italy today. That's not where it's talking about. It's talking about over here because this is the new Rome. Okay, so that's where the misconception, is being skipped over. You know what I'm saying? Let me see real quick. Oh, and I watched a video earlier today about the ancient, city of Babylon over in Iraq. And you can literally go over there, man. There was, in the video I watched, there was little, towns they have set up, where locals are living over there. You can go explore the ancient ruins of Babylon. So wait a second. That proves that Isaiah the 13th chapter didn't happen yet. And it also proves that Jeremiah the 50th and the 51st chapter are not talking about, totally, talking about ancient Babylon. There's certain parts in there that are, but there are certain parts that happen to America, which is modern day Babylon. Okay, you have to understand that it jumps times. Okay, you can't just read the Bible like a chapter book. You're gonna not, understand it correctly, reading it that way. That's that would be the Christian perspective, but the Bible says it has to be read precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. That's how you get the proper understanding of the scriptures. Let's see. The Galapagos, shalom to that brother. He said, you've been on here for a long time if you know what a YouTube poop is. Yeah, man. Hey, look, what YouTube's special for me, man, because YouTube was released back in, what was it, 2005 is when YouTube, was first around, which I was born a couple years prior to that, right? But I remember, man, what YouTube looked like back then, right? I remember what YouTube looked like, back, in its early days, and I was only little, man, right? But, I've always, been with YouTube, right? I've always, watched on here. I would say, if I was to say how many videos I've watched on YouTube, I would easily have to say, I would easily have to say, 15 to 20,000 videos. And the majority of those are truth related, but there's certainly a good, I'll say 8,000 videos in there that are just, either educational videos, how-to videos, YouTube poops, and anything in between for, entertainment over the years. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would easily say 15 to 20,000 videos I've seen, since, I first started to use YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I've always used this app. I've never been a TV person, right? There were certain times, growing up that I'd watch, certain, television, shows, right? Definitely. But then when I was like, I guess we could say 11, right? 11 or 12 is when I, just pretty much watched YouTube, right? There's no reason for, network TV. I still own a TV because you can connect, the internet to it. If you get something called a, what is it? The Amazon Fire, I believe. Oh, what is it? The Fire Stick, right? The Amazon Fire Stick. Look that up on Amazon if you don't know what that is. You can get that and you can hook up your internet to your TV. It plugs into the back of the TV. I'm not sure if it works on a box television, but if you have a flat screen, it can plug into the back of it, and it connects your internet to the TV, so you can watch YouTube on the TV. So I own a TV just for that reason, or for PlayStation, or stuff like that. But yeah, I don't have cable television, and according to statistics, that's dying out. Right, and let's just say, for an example, if this place was still here in 20 years, which of course is, I'm just giving a hypothetical circumstance. We know that's definitely not true. But just going by that for a second, in 20 years, the whole cable television, that's going to be totally existent anymore. It's going to totally be gone. It's not going to exist anymore. All right, within 20 years. All right, because you all, just like with the what is the VHS tapes? Yeah, I remember back when I was little, which I was born, which I won't say the exact year I was born. I was born, sometime in the early 2000s, right? Early 2000s. Um, but the reason then I bring it up is I remember, that I would, my mom would record, certain TV shows for me onto, what is it, the VHR sets, VHS sets, whatever they're called. I'm not familiar with them totally, but I remember, having those, right? Whatever, they what's the word I'm looking for? The whole process is I wouldn't be familiar with it because I'm like talking in early childhood, probably like what, 4 years old. I'd have to be something like that, 5 years old, something like that. I can remember those, right? The VHS tapes, and remember watching them, right? I had the whole what is it? The whole Goosebumps series, man. I remember that. But now today, those are pretty much nobody really uses those anymore, right? Because there's no reason to, because it's developed, beyond that with what we have today, right? And same thing with DVDs, right? DVDs, they're still definitely out there, right? Everyone has DVDs. But in 10 years, which, as I said, this place ain't going to be here 10 years. But I'm just giving this as a hypothetical, right? Within 10 years, who the hell is going to be using DVDs, right? So just, hey, things come into existence for a small period of time, and eventually they fade out, just like with what we've seen with this whole fidget spinner thing. I mean, hell, man, you go back, what was it? I believe 2017, if I'm not mistaken, right? Everybody was doing videos about fidget spinners, man. I mean, hell, you couldn't go on YouTube without getting, fidget spinner, trick videos. You know what I'm saying? Um, which, if you don't know what a fidget spinner is, you can look that up. Basically, it's like a little toy that spins around, right? But everybody was talking about that, doing videos, challenges, and stuff like that. And now nobody really even knows what fidget spinners are today, right? And we're only a couple years out, from that whole, craze, for lack of better words, of people fidgeting, they will call it, right? In fact, they had everyone would say, "Hey, I can't stop fidgeting," right? And they'd say that because it's a fidget spinner. Whereas they can't stop playing with those fidget spinners. And now here it is that most people don't even know what they are anymore. And that was only a couple years ago, man. All right, so it just shows you, man, that everything has its time, to get its popularity, but then it certainly you know ends up fading away. And as far as what I was saying about the VHS tapes, right? I'm not sure the whole process with it. I'm not even sure if you can, record something, on the TV with them. Someone would have to tell me, who has experience with them. But I remember, having the system there, and watching my shows, by my children's shows, by the VHS tapes. You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty much those don't nobody's using those anymore. Which I still have a was it a VHS player? Still got that somewhere in storage, but that's pretty much died out, man. Nobody uses that anymore. And as I said, DVDs, that's all slowly but surely, fading away too. Okay, everything's, advancing right now. Where everything is getting to be advanced. And you saw what happened with what is that store? Blockbusters. You saw what happened with Blockbusters, man. And I remember going to Blockbusters. I remember one time, down in Florida, actually. I had to have been 7 years old. Yeah, I had to have been 7 years old, the most 8 years old. But I remember going with my mother and one of my cousins. I remember we went to Blockbusters, to look at what they had, right? To look at their, selection of movies that they had available. Right? I remember that. And now look, right, Blockbuster, what happened with them is they started to they got chased out of their, business, so to speak. All right, they basically lost all the profits due to these new streaming services where you can stream, movies, from a home, right? Just like, what is this? The whole Hulu thing, the Netflix. Um, I'm sure there's a couple more out there. Um, yeah, there's a couple more out there, but just to give the, the handful of examples, of them, you know, Blockbuster totally got ran off the block, by these new streaming services. Who the hell wants to get up and go to damn Blockbusters if you can just you know, connect the internet to the TV and watch something online. You can order something online, rent something online. And that's another thing, man. This whole thing with these what is it, the red box, right? The whole red box, company. Which I'm not sure if they have a connection with Netflix. I'd have to look into that. It's possible. But the whole Redbox company, they're definitely, you know, it's you don't really see them many places anymore, right? Which I know that where there's a couple of them. Down in Florida, they used to have what is it? They used to have two machines inside of the Walgreens, and they had a couple in yeah, one outside. What is that? Yeah, what is that store? Yeah, the Publix, right? And certain stores like that, they'd have one outside. But slowly but surely, man, those are starting to also, be non-existent. So yeah, it just goes back to what I was saying. The whole streaming services are taking over these these businesses that are making money by you going out and renting movies from certain places like Blockbusters or from the you know uh Redbox. You know what I'm saying? So slowly but surely, they're gonna totally be non-existent, right? In the process of time. Let me just hit the comments. We'll see what's going on down there. I didn't mean to go on a whole rant, but I just wanted to, bring up that subject matter. You want to know a fun fact? Which is my private information, so I won't really go into any detail on it. But I'll just throw a little coincidence out there that me and one of my cousins were born, on the same day, but 3 years apart. And that's all I'll say on that. But it's weird. Okay, me and one of my cousins, we were born on the exact same day, but we were born 3 years apart. Okay, and to put it into simple words, it basically means I was born 3 years before her, but we were both born on the same date of the year. Okay, and that's weird. It's like, how the hell does that happen? Right? That's weird. Sharing the same birthday with your cousin. You know, but hey, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? But just to put that out there, that's a weird coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Mighty God said, in 20 years, only rainbows would be left. Yeah, it's right. Let me see. Mind of God said Jaren is a damn devil demon, right? Jarenism. Look that guy up if you don't know who that is. Someone said, Jack said, the QR codes on the phones of the enslaved is already working to buy and sell. No need for a microchip. Well, that's I would agree with that, but the problem is that doesn't fit the prophecy, though. That doesn't fit the prophecy. Like I could go out and certainly purchase something with a credit card, right? But that doesn't fulfill the prophecy. But let me say this: could I argue and say that that a credit card is the mark because I can go purchase something with a credit card? Okay, so why is that not the mark then? And no one knows, right? They're just making an argument, but then when you present something like what I just did, they won't have an answer for how that can't be true, though. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. That's a good observation. I believe it was Jack who put that comment up. That's a good observation, brother. But that doesn't fulfill the prophecy. Let me see. Just like this, I could also purchase something with currency. Okay, in fact, what is that? Well, I won't even mention that. I won't get into that. But I could purchase something with paper money, right? Which you got this idiot out there. What's this character? I believe his channel is called Teacher of the Truth or something like that. Y'all can look him up. Mine God knows who I'm talking about. And we got into it with him over the years, right? He's on there talking about, but, the mark is talking about paper currency, right? The mark's talking about paper currency is what he's on there saying. And he's like, well, see, you can't buy or trade without using paper money. And then you ask him, it's like, well, wait a second. What about, because he was streaming in a car, right? He makes his videos in a car. So I asked him, well, wait a second. How exactly did you purchase that car then if you don't deal with paper money? Then he says, well, I do deal with paper money. It's like, well, wait a second. Then don't you admit by your own logical deduction that you have the mark too? I mean, come on. These guys, damn joke, man. That's all I'm going to say. Let me see. What's funny? I come down here with damn what's it called? Damn, I totally forgot the name of this thing. Oh, my power bank. Come down with it. The thing's fully damn charged, and now when I look at it, now it's not charged. I don't know how the hell that happened. Hey, but that's Satan for you, man. Right? That's Satan for you. No, but that's just that's part of the battle, man. It's definitely part of the battle. Is you have to go through these spiritual attacks, and it can happen in any way, shape, and form. Like I'll give this example. Yesterday, me and mine and God were on a stream, and we had Bible Defender on there with us, which I believe the brother's still in the chat with us here. Shalom to the brother if he's listening. But he said he had to drop out of the stream yesterday because Satan was messing with his phone. Right, he wasn't having. He was getting phone calls from somebody, so he had to. He couldn't really be on the stream for too long. And that's Satan for you. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like, you're recording a video and then someone calls you while you're midway through the video. So therefore the number pops up on the screen, and because you don't want people to see it so they can contact them, you got to go back through and remake the video. Or possibly you might be able to edit that out if you have a computer and the software to do it. You can do it then. But of course, me in my circumstance, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So you got to scrap the whole thing and go back and do it again. So it's just, unneeded aggravation, but it is what it is. It just is what it is. Let me see. As I said, shalom to everybody who's tuning in on the chat. I'm just going to get caught up in the chat real quick because I was talking for a little bit. Hey, what's up, DJ? How you doing, man? Shalom. Yeah, I'm familiar. I know that that Jack's not saying that the QR is the mark. I know that. But he was saying something along the lines is that people can use, that. So couldn't that qualify as the mark or something like that? And I understand what he's saying, right? I do understand that. I'm familiar that he's not saying that, right? He's just giving an observation, right? I'm familiar with that. Let me see. He said no prophecy for the chip either. Well, as I said, I mean, I'd have to disagree on that. All you got to do is look up people getting microchip implants inside the hand. I mean, hey, look, brother, if you can't, if you're gonna tell me that's literally not what the prophecy says, then that's clearly foolishness, brother. That literally is 100% fulfillment of the prophecy. People receiving chips inside the hand. That literally fits what it says 100%. And if you're gonna deny that, well, that's just pure ignorance. That would be like me saying that Babylon the Great is the entire world, but then you bring up, well, how can it be the whole world if people are standing afar off watching Babylon burn? And then I say, well, they're watching from the moon. It's like, well, what the hell? How the hell does that make any sense? Right? That's the equivalence of what you're trying to say. Is you're telling me that the chip doesn't fulfill the prophecy. It's like, well, wait a second. But we literally can look up videos online of people receiving these chips inside their hands, just as the prophecy says. So that's I'd say argue and say that's a foolish, statement for the brother to make there. That certainly doesn't make any sense to come with that. And I'm not hating on the brother, right? The brother definitely might know some stuff, but you gotta reconsider that, man, because that doesn't make no sense. Let me see. Let me just check this real quick. Well, as I said, man, you're just gonna have to wait in process of time. Okay, you're just gonna have to wait in process of time. Just like I'll give this example right now. The let's see, what could I use for an example? Oh, I'll give this example. Right now, no one can think of a scenario on why the allies of America would turn against her. But the prophecy said it is gonna happen. Right? So even though we can't see that happening right now, in the future that will happen. Right? Even though we can't see it happening at this particular moment. Right? Thinking that all the world leaders will just, hit that red button one day and send off those missiles. That's why it says that the Lord's going to put it into their minds, to go through with that action. Okay, because people have a heart. They know. Look what happened to what's this guy? What I believe his name is Robert Oppenheimer, right? The man behind the what is it? The atom bomb. Right? Look up the Manhattan Project. In fact, he had a statement and said, he was quoting from a religious, text. And the quote he made was, I am become death and the destroyer of the worlds. Right? He was quoting from a religious text. But if you do the research on it, he definitely suffered for a vast majority, of his life. I'd say the rest of his life, knowing that his actions resulted in the death of, how many people, I'm going to have to look that up, how many people died. It was a huge number of people that passed away, man. I believe I'd have to fact check this. Somebody can look this up. I believe it was 250,000 people, if I'm not mistaken, 250,000. I could be mistaken on that. I'm not talking about the what is it when they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which was what 1945 to end the Second World War. Just do a Wikipedia search on that. You can tell me the exact numbers on it. Okay, but going back to the point I'm making is people have a heart, right? So they might hesitate to push that button. That's why it says that the Lord is going to make them do it. Why? Because the heart of the king is in the hands of the Lord. What is that? Proverbs 21:1. Let me see. Yeah, GJ said hit that like button. Hey, you heard him. Right, you heard him. Click that like button. But anyway, I don't have to go quite yet. So if anyone wants to introduce another topic to the discussion, you're welcome to. But yeah, man, I believe I put on the title of the video, or at least in the thumbnail of the video, something along the lines of, what you do in this life, echoes in eternity. I'm nearly paraphrasing it, but that's true, man. Right? You're going to be known in the kingdom by your works on this side. Okay, that's why when Christ returns, you're going to be judged by your works. And how can I prove that? All you got to do is read, what is that, Matthew, the 25th chapter, go to verse 31 and read on down from there. That literally shows you that on Judgment Day, what the people are being judged by is how their good deeds that they had in life. Okay, he said, when you saw, one of these people, who was in hunger, you did not feed them. When he saw me, he said me, right, referring to himself, but he was really referring to, the people in the world. Okay, and he says that later on in the chapter. So if someone denies that, you can read it yourself to prove it. He literally says that. Even though he says me, he's referring to the people they saw in the world, because then they asked him, well, when did we see you, hungry? Or when did we see you in prison and did not visit you? Right? When did we see you naked and we did not clothe you? And then it says he shall answer and say unto them that when you saw those in the world, in this circumstance, and you didn't, clothe them, feed them, or visit them in prison, it's the same as if you did not do it to me. Right? So the people are being judged off of their good and wicked deeds. That's why it tells you, what is that, Revelation, the 20th chapter, I believe that's the 4th verse on down. It talks about how, on Judgment Day, it says what? That the books were open. Now, what does that mean? The books represent, what you've done in your life, right? So you're going to be judged off of what you've done, right? Your good deeds as well as your unrighteous deeds. There's a scripture that says charity covers a multitude of sins, right? So it's going to be weighed in the balance, right? The Lord's going to see. Okay, and that's why, if you're covered in, the blood of Yahweh Shai, if you believe, in the Christ, well, then you're covered then, right? You're covered. That doesn't mean that you can go around and willingly commit sins now that you're covered in Christ. No, you can't do that. It simply means that if you're covered in Christ, in his blood, you got to remain, following the commandments to the best that you can. You can't perfectly keep them, but the best that you can. Okay, that's how you have to do it. Okay, got these Christians talking about, I'm covered in Jesus, so I can go do, whatever I want. It's like, okay, so if you can eat a sloppy, ham, pepperoni, shellfish, sandwich, add some mayonnaise in there too. If you can eat that type of sandwich, well, what the hell's stopping you from committing the act of adultery, which is sleeping with another man's wife? How is that not okay? But yet it right, they don't do that, but yet they'll eat abominable foods. It's like, well, wait a second. I thought you guys said that the law was done away with. So how exactly are they putting a distinction between the two if they said the law's done away with to begin with? That doesn't make no damn sense. As I said, man, a lot of these guys are just full of shit, is what the Christian church is full of. I don't know what the hell's going on. Bear with me for a moment. Let me just read this real quick. Someone asked, what is the purpose of these juices? Well, the purpose of them, well, let me say, how could I answer that question? I would say, it is what they're trying to say, right? It is what they're trying to say, but of course there's deception involved in it, right? That's why, how can you say that? Because that's why you have people who are, perfectly healthy, dropping dead, after they've, got these waxes. They got to use code word on here. Okay, but as I said, man, and there's stuff coming out now that, if they guys are on here talking about that within a year or two, people that took that wax, might start, dropping like flies, man. And we're going to have to wait and see. This is all a waiting game. Okay, this is all a waiting game, right? Nobody has a crystal ball, right? No one has a crystal ball to see tomorrow, right? No one knows what's happening tomorrow. Okay, you just got to live in the moment. Right now, what does that mean by living in the moment? It doesn't mean, oh, what's the saying, right? What is it? YOLO, right? You only live once. That's not what I'm saying, right? I'm not saying, think like that. But what I mean by living in the moment is, you got to take it a day at a time, man. Okay, what happens? You don't know. Next week, they might come out and say that everybody got to take the wax, or you're going to, have to find a new place of employment. That could happen, right? Nobody knows. Okay, that's why this is a waiting game right now. This is all about a waiting game. Okay, we just have to wait and see. All right, this is all about waiting, right? We're watching, right? We're just watching, the world system right now, the world stage, and seeing what's happening, what's taking place, and then we can maneuver ourselves through it. Like I was talking with someone the other day that's, supposedly in the know, and they were telling me that, we shouldn't, get this juice, but, eventually, it's going to get to the point, where we all just have to, accept this juice and, just take it and move on with, business as usual. And the answer to that is no, right? We're not just going to accept, these juices and just, continue like nothing's going on. We're not doing that. Right? We're not doing that. That's foolishness there. Right? That's foolishness to just take something that you don't know anything that's in it. How the hell does that make any sense? But it's just it's crazy what's going on, man. That's all I'm gonna say. It's definitely, crazy. It's definitely crazy what's going on right now. And you can see, man, or you can see this place is totally done. It's finished. Right? It's a wrap for this place, man. Look up what's that channel? Look up a channel called the Full Spectrum Survival. Right? If you like what I'm saying, you'll definitely enjoy what he's on there talking about. Because he goes into deep detail, right? Reading articles and stuff like that, showing that this place is coming to a close. And he's not even coming from the scriptural standpoint. He's just coming as an average, American, for lack of better words. Let me see. Let me see. Right. As I said, man, just gotta wait and see what happens. That's just how you gotta look at it. Okay, we just have to watch what happens. As I said, nobody knows tomorrow, man. Right? Nobody knows what's gonna happen tomorrow. Okay, nobody knows what's gonna take place tomorrow. So that's why you just have to live in the moment, man. Okay, you just gotta take it a day at a time. The scriptures speak about, and I'm paraphrasing it, but it says, "Worry not upon tomorrow, for you don't know what a day can bring." Right, and that's true. You don't know what a day can bring, man. Or you don't know what the hell a day can bring. Okay, you don't know what the hell a day can put at you. I should say bring at you to say it correctly. You don't know what the hell a day can bring. Okay, I mean, hell, when people get up in the morning, get dressed and go to work, I guarantee you that none of those people, and this happens to, of course, billions of people every day, get up, go to work, come home and repeat the same process, pretty much every day, right? But guess what? For a lot of those people, eventually one day, they're going to get caught, right? And their life's going to be taken, whether that be in an accident, whether it be of natural causes, right? Of having a heart attack, sitting at the office job or something like that, right? Choking on something, right? Getting in a car wreck. Anything can happen, man. That's why it says, worry not upon the morrow, because you don't know what a day can bring, right? So the reason I'm bringing it up is, you have people right now that, they're sleeping right now. They're going to get up, in a handful of hours, be on their way to work. But I guarantee you, man, one of those people ain't coming home later today, right? Or tomorrow night. They ain't going to be coming home, right? No one knows who that person's going to be, but somebody's going to happen, right? Something's going to happen to someone. Just like what happened to, what's the brother, right? Brother Luke, which, as I said, keep that brother in your prayers. I put up a community post for it, but he's told me that it was either yesterday or the day before he got into some type of car accident, right? Which I have to look at the whole, story of what he said again to refresh my memory on it. But, he said that he got into a circumstance, he got into like some type of wreck. Okay, so, the brothers basically made it look like he's doing okay, which is, of course, great. But, still keep that brother in your prayers, man. Okay, but hey, at least, he was spared. Okay, because as any accident goes, man, it could end up, being worse than it can. Like, I'll give this example, man. I was in a car accident once before. We were in it. Let me say this. Um, when I want to say, I was either 9 or 10 years old, right? We were planning on going to, to the beach. I believe it was Clearwater Beach we wanted to go to down in Florida. So we were sitting at a stoplight, right? And, we're sitting there. Now, keep in mind, my grandmother didn't have her seatbelt on. Keep that in mind. And then there's somebody driving down the road, they're texting on their phone, and they hit us in the back going 80 miles an hour. Let me say that again. They hit us in the back while we're stopped at a stoplight. They're on their phone texting, and they hit us going 80 miles an hour, man. Think about how fast it is coming to a abrupt stop. So, long story short, everyone was okay, right? Everyone in our vehicle was okay, and the two of them in the other vehicle, they were okay as well. Of course, I believe both of the cars got totaled, right? Both of the cars, I believe our car, the frame got cracked in half or something like that. The trunk got totally caved in, and the vehicle had to be, we had to get another vehicle, right? I believe the other people had to do the same thing as well with their car. And, the messed up part about it is that we ended up getting 10,000 out of it, but the vast majority of that money had to go to, what is it, physical therapy, right? Because my mother got, her back needed some work after it, right? Which I don't need to go into detail on that. But, yeah, that's a scary thing, man. And my grandmother, as I said, she didn't have a seatbelt on, right? So nothing happened to her, but that's truly a miracle, man. Because I remember sitting there, when we got hit, I remember flying forward, in the seat, right? I remember that to this day, man, flying forward, and the seatbelt, caught me, right? But then you fly back, right? That's why you can get something called whiplash. Look that up. Which I believe none of us got that. Maybe my mother did. Um, but I didn't, right? But that's a condition you could get from that, man. Right? Look that up if you're not familiar with that. Okay, but basically what it is your head's being moved at such a fast rate, it can affect you. Okay, as I said, you can look it up if you want to get all the detail, on the matter. Just do a Wikipedia search on that. Look that word up. Okay, if you want to learn about it. Let me see. But damn, that was scary, man. Okay, and that is what it is. Right? That's a story. I wanted to mention that. Okay, I'm not sure why I went to that point. I'm not sure what I was speaking about beforehand. Oh yeah, I was talking about how, you never know what a day is gonna bring. Really, none of us knew that on that day we were supposed to be heading down to the beach, to spend the weekend, that we'd be being hit from behind by somebody going 80 miles an hour. Right? Nobody would have thought that, but it happened. Right? None of us expected that to happen, but it still happened. All right. So that's just good to use, man. That's a good example, to use that, you never know what the hell can happen on a day, man. Or you never know what the hell, a day's going to throw at you. You never know. That's why you have to live in the moment, man. Right? You can't be, always worried about the future. Right? You can't always ponder upon that because hell, the Lord could take you out tomorrow. Right? The Lord could take your ass out tomorrow, man. That's why the scriptures speak about, what is that? Matthew 10 and verse 28. That says what? Don't fear the man who can just destroy the body and not the soul, but rather fear him that can destroy both the body and the soul in hell. And what does hell represent? Hell represents the earth and a condition of suffering, depending on the context that the word is used in. Okay, so hell is a condition of suffering that takes place on the earth, right? Not somewhere that you burn when you die. That's a Christian fairy tale. That's not in the Bible. Okay, that's not in the scriptures. Let me see. Bear with me for a moment. Let me see. Which I'm not going to go for too much longer. If there's anybody listening who wants to ask a question, you can ask those now. I'm only going to be on here for another 15 minutes or so, because I don't want my phone to run totally dry. Because I'm at like 60% right now, so I can't be on for too much longer. But let me see. The Galapagos said, I don't believe this juice narrative will be the next year. Or Slocky, let me read that again. Narrative will last the next year or so. I've noticed luckily even the ones who accepted it are growing tired of the silence. Right. And that's I believe the brother said science, or might have meant silence. But in any way he goes, right? Any way that he pronounces it, that's definitely true. And I totally agree with that, what that brother said, man. I totally agree with what the brother Galapagos said, right? These people are these people, the tension's just too much right now. And hey, look, man, I've said it before. Even I myself in this truth, I've had enough, right? I've had enough with what's going on right now. I've had enough too, right? I'm fed up with everything, and I'm in the know, right? I already know what's going on. Okay, but guess what? I had enough too, right? I had enough with this society, right? I've had enough with what's going on. I mean, hell, ETT is gonna go join a damn riot next time, man. I'll be in the front line. I'm just messing around, but piss you off, with everything that's going on right now, man. Seeing these celebrities driving around, like I know certain guys, man, out there that own, 4 cars, right, 5 cars, and I mean expensive cars, $100,000, $160,000, car, man. Right, got multiple of them. Don't have to worry about anything. In fact, I used to work for, a multimillionaire, not too long ago. But pisses you off to see the lifestyle these people are living. But then us, look how we're living, right? Don't even got a damn, 2 dimes to scratch together. You know what I'm saying? So it's just it's too much that's going on right now, man. Right? The poverty that we're seeing, here in Mystery Babylon the Great, which is America, not no Vatican City. It's just unbelievable, right? It's just unbelievable how wide the gap is between the haves and the have-nots here. It's just unbelievable how high it truly is, man. It's just unbelievable what's going on here, right? This place is just too much. But guess what? There's good news though, because this place is coming to an end. And that's the words of the Most High. What is that? If you go to, somebody put that in the comment board, Revelation, the 19th chapter. It says what? For these are the true sayings of God, right? These are the true sayings of the Most High, right? The Most High has judged a great whore, and he's getting ready to do it. And he's really doing it right now, because we're in the beginning of sorrows. That's why you have all of these plagues that's going on right now. This plague of tornadoes that just hit America 2 days ago, killing 100+ people. That was a plague, man. That's crazy. Right? You got, plagues of locusts going on in Africa, eating the all of the crops, which that might have died down recently, due to the weather changes and whatnot. You're not sure what it is over there right now, but still, it's all of this is just adding to the suffering that the people's going through, man. And it's all of the Lord, of course. Right? If there's evil in the city, did not the Lord do it? Amos 3:6. Let me see. As I said, if there's any last minute questions anyone has, you can feel free to ask them now, because I only got 10-15 minutes left before I leave. So you can get those up and in the comments and I'll address them. Let me see. Right, and I was watching a video yesterday. A GMS brother posted a video of a woman who got on a plane, right? She totally was safe, right? She went through all of the tests, that they wanted her to go on before she got on an airplane. And here it is, they had a 10-minute argument on the plane because the what's the word I'm looking for? The flight attendant wanted her to put the mask on because that was one of the regulations that everyone had to have one. But then the lady was arguing, it's like, why should I have to wear a mask if I went through all the tests and they found out that I'm completely safe, right? I have nothing wrong with me, right? And that's what the test confirmed. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on the flight, right? So it's like, they had a 10-minute brawl about it. And then everyone's sitting there saying, oh, yeah, put the face diaper on, just put it on so we can leave already and all of that. But it just shows you, man, all right, that, these prophecies are popping off, man. It's just all coming to pass right now, right? It's all happening right now, man. Okay, and it's going to get worse, right, very soon. You're not going to be able to, go into a grocery store without showing that you've got this, this wax. And that's the future, right? That's the future. That's going to happen in the very near future. Might not be this year, okay, but it's coming, man. Right now, we as the men of the Lord, we're going to tell you the future, right? We're telling you things that are coming, right? So you have a chance to get right now. Scriptures say, what is that? Isaiah, the 55th chapter, the 6th verse, right? Call upon the Lord while he might be found. Seek the Lord while he is near. And you can call upon the Lord right now because the Lord's near. All right, the word of the Lord's available on YouTube right now. Right, that's the place that the Lord set up, for us to use to interact with one another on, is this platform called YouTube. We've done lessons on that in the past. Okay, but the point is, man, is that the Lord's clearly bringing this thing to a close in the very near future. Okay, so hey, look, man, y'all better get right, and that goes for me too. Right, we better take this thing serious, man, because we ain't in no time to be playing games right now, man. Right, like Sakari's out there trying to make rap music. Right, we're not in the time to be making rap music, rapping about how we got a Benz. Right, we're not supposed to be doing that. Okay, it's just a lot of these guys got too much time on their hands, man. Just like this character Samuel Owen sitting on there saying that he is the Christ, doing 5 live streams a day, having 2 people watch. You know what I'm saying? So what the hell is this guy doing, man? But yet he actually believes that he is the Christ. And he's not even putting on an act. He really believes he is. I don't know what type of mental disorder he has, but it's definitely, he definitely doesn't know what the hell is going on, man. And it's sad, right? The guy reminds me of, what's this guy, right? Kevin Wendell Crumb from the movie Split. Tell me he don't remind you of that. One minute he's the son of man, next minute he's not the son of man. One minute he is the Christ, the next minute he's saying he's a representation of the Christ. One minute he'll sit there and have a friendly chat with you. Next minute he's telling you better bow down and worship him, as the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The guy's like 20 different personalities. You know what I'm saying? And that's scary, man. But that it just is what it is. Let me see real quick. Which DJ, I don't know if you've seen, man, but if you go on these news videos like the CNN and stuff like that, dealing with this whole, global circumstance, they take the comments off, right? Like they totally turn the comment section off, right? They totally turn the comment section off. So you can't chat anymore because when they did have it on, everything was all negativity, against them. And it's funny because on regular news, like, local violence or, a political, you know, deal or something like that, they'll let the comment section on for that. But then dealing with this whole thing going on right now, they'll totally turn the comment section off. And then when they had the what is it? When they had the dislikes visible, you could tell they had like, 200 likes and 1,500 dislikes. You know what I'm saying? So people know what something's going on, man. Okay, so they gotta act quick. Right? They gotta act quick. Is what the elite gotta do very soon, man. Let me see. Adam said, it's true, it's like the framework for a beast system is being put into place. Well, the beast system is already in place. Oh, let's see. Mine of God said beast system has been in place for a long time. Right. Right. The beast system is the system we're living under right now. Okay, so it's not something coming in the future. It's just we're living in it right now already. Okay, I'll give this example. The whole world right now, well, I shouldn't say everywhere in the world, because there's certain communities that deal with trade and with, certain things like that to instead of money. That's true. But major, countries, or as Lark and Rose would call them, crunchies. Side joke. They'll deal with the American dollar, right? Which is the pretty much the backbone currency of the world is the US dollar, right? Which is what? Just this worthless paper, which is actually a cloth material. That's why they found, they find wallets that have been lost in the, canals or, an ocean or, a lake for 15, 20 years. And when they bring the money out, it doesn't just crumble to pieces. If they leave it out to dry for 6 hours, or a day, it's totally usable. It might be a little, bleached, with different color, but it's still usable. Okay, so it's not necessarily made of paper. It's more like a cloth material. But it is still paper, but it's just like a different material in the mix. But you can go on YouTube and look up, the process of how they make money. I know they have a 50-minute documentary on it, and probably a few thousand other videos that you can watch on it. If you're interested in learning about that. Because did you know, here's a little fun fact for you. Did you know that the Chinese were the first ones to invent paper? Right, and not only that, I believe they were also the first one to create paper money. Right, and you can look up the history on that on YouTube. Let me see. Yeah, and I agree with Jack there that this narrative, this ain't going nowhere, man. Right, this is the new normal. Right, this is definitely the new normal. Things ain't going back to no normalcy. Right, the way you see the world right now is the way it's going to be from here on out, man. All right, that's just the way it is. If you can't see it, then you can't see it. Right? You better wake up and smell the coffee, man. It's hard to believe that we're living in right now we're living in a global circumstance. Right? I got to use, watch the words I use. Can't use the exact words, but you know what I'm talking about. It's unbelievable. Then everything right now that's going on with this whole, what is it, this Russia and Ukraine situation. Russia ain't backing off, man. Right? So I don't know what the hell's going on there. But, if history can tell you anything, you always have a global, health crisis, but then you also are going to have alongside that comes what? An economic circumstance, economic depression. But then what also comes after that? And the answer is a war comes after that. Right. So the next step in the very near future is another world war, which it will happen, by the way. There is World War III. Okay, the Lord's going to make them, he's going to put it into their minds to go into another war. But nevertheless, there is going to be one. Right? There is going to be another war in the very near future. And that's clearly in the scriptures. Let's see. Right. So, as I said, man, it's just we just got to be diligent. We just have to be diligent at the time we're in right now, because it's just very soon, you're gonna have to, take that, these juices. You ain't gonna be able to work in any establishment, man, and that's the very near future. Like that's, that's very near. Or that is just very close right now, man. All right, I mean, it's just we're just telling you before it happens, right? So when it happens, you can remember, oh wait, well, Yasha, right, ETT, the end time teacher, he told me that was going to happen. And that's right. Hey, look, I told you it was going to happen, right? It might not be today. It's not going to be this week. It's not going to be 2 months from now. All right. It's not going to be then. It might be 7 months from now. It could be next year. That's a possibility, but it takes time, right? It definitely takes time. Okay. Things don't just happen overnight. That's why, dealing with, certain guys that come on and say, oh, how can the mark be the juice if people can still, trade and buy without getting the juice? And the answer to that, which again, I'm not saying the mark is this juice, but to back up their statement is it's has to be understood that, it doesn't just happen overnight, right? It's a process of time, right? So could this juice be the mark? It's possible. We have to watch. And even Dahar said that, you don't know what the hell they're putting in this. Right. And you better believe if these people, if everyone who got this yab, starts to get sores on their body, then hell, then that's, hey, and that's the proof in the pudding. Right. So we just gotta watch, man. We gotta watch. Okay, but you better stay away from that, man. And if you did get this, these juices, you better stay away from the future, ones. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm going to tell you. But we're definitely in some serious times right now, man. Okay, this ain't no laughing matter, but it's definitely is not a laughing matter at this moment in time, man. It's definitely some very serious times right now, man. Okay, so it's just these guys out here who are just playing games with this thing. These guys are just clearly lost in the sauce, man. Okay, so as I said, we just got to, stay on that narrow path, right? What is that? Second Ezra 7th chapter, Matthew 7th chapter. We got to stay on that, man, right? Because many are going to fall by the wayside, right? Many people right now are saying, I'm not going to get the juice, but then next week they will if they give them, a free $100 with it. Because very soon, man, the temptation is going to get very real, and they might offer you, financial, may I say, incentive. I hope we're pronouncing that word correct. Or maybe I used the word bribe. Look that word up. They might bribe. You should know what that means. They might bribe you into taking these juices, they offer you another stimulus check. That could be a good one. That's how they might get a lot of people. They offering people who got juices, offering them, a decent stimulus. That's going to get a lot of people, man, who are hesitant right now, or hesitant, I should say. That's going to get a lot of people. I mean, hell, I might have to, that might be a hard temptation for me, man. $1,500, $2,000. That's a lot of money. Right? That's a lot of money. But hey, look, I ain't going to do it. Right? Even though it might be tempting, I ain't going to do it. Why? Because that goes against the scriptures. Right? That goes against the scriptures. So even though it's going to be tempting, that's true. That's definitely tempting, man. A free, $1,500, maybe $2,000 for just taking a rooster. That's a strong temptation, man. That's a lot of money. Okay, but hey, you can't do it. Right? You can't do it. You have to say no. And I'm not saying they're going to do that, but that could happen, right? That could happen. Time will tell. All right, and that's just the way you got to look at it, man. All right, because what Jack's saying, he's right on that. That this narrative, this isn't going anywhere. Right, the way the world is right now, it's not going anywhere. Right, things are just going to get, worse from here, man. Okay, things are just going to go downhill from here. And remember, we told you that, right? We told you first, you heard it here first, that in the very near future, they're going to make you, show proof, of this juice, or you're not going to be able to enter into an establishment, man. And that's what we're out here telling you right now today. Like, I'm sitting out here in front of a shop right now. If I wanted to, I could go in there now and I could purchase something if I wanted to by, trading in my, legal Tinder. Okay. My legal, treasury notes, right? My money, I could go take it in there and I can exchange, hands of goods, right? I can give them this paper and they will give me my Mango Loco drink, which is what I would purchase, right? So I could go do that right now if I wanted to, right? I could do that. And I don't even have to wear a face diaper because all I can do is say, well, look, I'm good, right? I got all the juices. How the hell would they know? Right? How the hell would they know? And the answer is they can't. All right, but then something changes one day. Maybe they'll make you show papers. And as I said, we're just giving speculation right now. As I said, nobody knows what the hell is going to happen tomorrow, man. Okay, so who the hell knows what's going to happen? So I'm just giving a speculation of what could happen in the very near future. Okay, they might make you show papers. Okay, we don't know how this is going to go down. Okay, but we're just, watching. Right, we're watching, and seeing the signs. What is that? If you go to Luke, the 21st chapter, it mentions, that when you see these signs come to pass, it says, look up because your redemption draws near. And that's true. And why does it say to look up? And that's a real question. Why does it say to look up? Why? Because these UFO sightings are definitely on the rise and are increasing. Why? Because those UFOs are the chariots, man. Right? Those are the crafts that the angels are in, that they're going to come down here and beam the elect, up on. Okay? So, which I'm going to go for another 5 minutes. So as I said, if there's any last minute questions anyone wants to ask, this is your last chance to ask them. Just to put that out there. But yeah, man, it's definitely, it's just definitely too much. Like somebody earlier made a statement, which I agree with. I believe it was Galapagos, right? That brother, I believe it was him. He made a statement that, these people are getting, their feathers are getting ruffled, so to speak, right? Everyone's getting pissed off with what's going on right now. And they should be, right? They should be, because everyone can see the deception that's going on right now, right? Everyone's tired of getting poor, right? More poor, while these fat cats at the laptop or, sitting around in luxury, flipping through paper all day, right? Starting to get pissed off. I'm starting to get pissed off. All right. And I'm in the know. But if I am, think about the next peon. Or think about the next who ain't in the know. Think about that. How mad are they going to be? And they're not even in the truth. You know what I'm saying? So, very soon, man, you're going to see Second Ezra's the 15th chapter. It says what? That they shall not regard their kings nor their princes, right? But their actions, shall stand, in their own, view. And I'm nearly paraphrasing it, okay? But it says they're not going to regard their kings nor their princes. Meaning what? They're not going to regard these political figures. They're not going to care for what they have to say. No one's going to care what Donald Trump says. Got these cats on there, flat earth boxers talking about, oh, well, Trump is the Antichrist. Trump is the man to sin. Because everyone looks up to him. Hey, look, well, when that day comes, ain't nobody going to care what Trump has to say, man. Right? Ain't nobody going to have to care about what Trump has to say when people are starving, man. Nobody's going to care what he has to say about that. Okay, and that's just, what's going to happen, in the near future. Right, so we're just, putting that out there so you're warned beforehand. What is that? Habakkuk 2:2? Right, write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run who reads it. Right, that we're making the vision plain upon tables right now. Okay, everything's being made, clear, at this moment in time. Okay, so as I said, man, if guys can't see it, then they can't see it. Scriptures speak about let the blind lead the blind, and they shall all fall into a ditch, is what it says. Right? Let the blind lead the blind, and they're all gonna fall into a ditch. Right. So if tried and refined wanted to believe that reincarnation is not in the scriptures, hey, let them do it. And if you want to follow them, go do it. Right? If you want to do that, then go do that. Hey, look, if you listen to, my channel, and Mind of God's channel, Bible Defenders channel, Luke's channel, and you believe in what we're saying, and that's good. Okay, but then if you want to leave that and go join, Tried and Refine and believe in what they're teaching, hey, you can do that, right? We'll be men about it, right? I'll give you a handshake, pat on the back, and wish you the best of luck. But hey, look, don't let the door hit you in the behind on the way out. That's all. That's just how it is. That's just how you got to look at it, man. At the end of the day, we all have to be worried about making sure our own ass is saved, for lack of better words. Okay, and that's in the Bible. Scriptures speak about every man has to work out his own salvation, is what the scriptures say. Okay, you can't save me, and I cannot save you. Okay, I cannot save you, and you cannot save me. Okay, every man's going to be, tried and have to make it through on his own. Okay, now we can all have a friendly chat and build with one another in the faith, of course. Right? That's always a great thing to do. Okay, just like when I talk with the one brother, right, Brother Dasan, which I'll give that brother a shout out, right? Go subscribe to Brother Dasan. That brother is new to this truth, but that brother is very sincere, man. In fact, he just finished reading the entire Bible, right? So give that brother, a round of applause, man. Because that's a feat of its own, right? Not many people have done that. Especially people even in the truth, believe it or not. But I try to talk with the brother, I call him every, week, every 2 weeks or so. And we make, some videos together. But the brother's very respectable, right? I really like that brother, right? Brother Dasan. But at the end of the day, he can't save me and I cannot save him, right? Every man has to save himself by his belief in the Christ. But let me say that, we can't save ourselves, but by our faith in the Christ is how we are saved. Okay, so what I mean by saving yourself, I'm simply referring to how you have to work out your own salvation, right? Just not to get it twisted. Okay, you can't save yourself and make it to the kingdom, by your own will. You can't do it. You have to go by, the Christ in order to get there. Right? There's no other way, to get to the kingdom. Okay, so I'm not going to go for too much longer. I'll wrap up on the last couple of comments that are coming in here, and then we'll call it a show. Let me see. My God, I thought you said that Rob Skiba is just an actor. I thought Rob Skiba was an actor, is what you said. And you said that you didn't care that he passed away or something like that not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you? All right, well, anyway, I'll wrap the video up with that. Now I hope that video was edifying. We went for a little over 2 hours. Definitely a good stream, right? Always like to come on and do these, every once in a while. If everyone made it to the end, let's see, go ahead and put hashtag, go ahead and put hashtag juice in the comment section. All right, hashtag juice. All right, hashtag juice in the comment section down below, just in case anybody made it through after the stream. You can mark your place in the comment section. Okay, so thank everyone for sticking around. Definitely a good stream, and Lord willing, next time I'll do it on StreamYard, so I can drop a link in the chat and everyone can come on and actually talk if they would like. So make sure you put on your subscription, notifications, right? The notification bell, and make sure you have the notification bell on, okay, just so you get notified next time we go live. All right, so as I said, thanks everyone for stopping by. Hope this stream was edifying, and I'm gonna say shalom. Oh, in the words of the Deacon, right? Have a good night.